It's showtime. So we are live. Thanks again for watching this. It's American Hammers TV on American Hammers Network. We are on YouTube. We are streaming simultaneously on Facebook and Periscope. So hello, Facebook and Twitter. If you're watching on Facebook and Twitter, please go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe, because we've never been so close to 1,000 subscribers. Today we had a nice little push, and I think we're at 970 or something like that, 970 something. So anyway, we only need a couple dozen more subscribers, and then we hit 1,000. That's our benchmark. So we'd really appreciate it. Once we hit 1,000, we're going to start giving stuff away, doing some giveaways, which is going to be kind of neat. Yeah, that'll be cool. Anyway, go to ahtv.threadless.com. We have a massive shop with tons of cool shit in there. And yeah, you can buy pretty much anything you want. Supporters group stuff, different West Ham designs, stuff about our shows. I mean, our show logos. Also, we have got a brand new website, which is kind of cool. It's called AmericanHammers.net. And yeah, somewhere on there, there's a link to scarves. We got scarves like the one, behind me over here. And yeah, $25 for the scarf. And then depending on where you live, shipping may vary, but they're made by Roughneck and they're super quality. So that's cool. Yeah, but our website, man, you got to check out our new website. It is awesome. It is great. Alex from Mississippi has put a shit ton of work into not only our shop, making our shop awesome. He's done a fantastic job on our website. And I'm telling you, it's just amazing. So please check that out. So just real quickly, I want to say hello to Charlie Boy in the chat room, Neil from Down Under. It's up. It's 11:30 a.m. there on Tuesday. Gabe, what's going on, Gabe? What's up, Robbie? And anyone else who decides to chime in. We are live. If you're watching this after the fact, share the video. Give us a thumbs up if you think you had a good time with us. Hopefully you get to make it through the whole show. We're going to be spending about an hour here today. My guests today are Joss below me, and then we have Irish Tommy over there. Over there. Down the bottom right next to me is Ray, and on the opposite side of Ray is Steve. So these are friends of mine from all over the world, which is kind of cool. And that's what the show is, AHTV and Friends. So the last show that I did, Ray and Steve were on it. And I think both of you guys down below were in the chat room, I believe, or at least one of you was during that show. And we were discussing the sacking of Pellegrini. And then I'd say 5 to 10 minutes before the hour mark in the show, it was official. They announced Moyes after we were talking so much shit about it. Yeah, but now it's official. So, what are your thoughts? Let's start with Joss and go counterclockwise and come back to me. Okay, Joss, what did you think about the appointment?
The appointment of Moyes was not surprising. That's how I would describe it.
What does your brother say? Who's an Everton fan?
He keeps talking. He keeps talking big Ancelotti. They got Ancelotti there, and I think it just shows the difference in the clubs, and the ambition of the owners, that they can go out and get Carlo Ancelotti, the Champions League winner, who has managed Madrid and Bayern, and we go out and get David Moyes, who we had 18 months ago.
Yeah.
So I think it just shows. I wasn't surprised. I sort of had some hope that maybe it would be a Kovac. At the 11th hour, we get Kovac in. But when Moyes, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Tommy, what do you think about the appointment?
Very disappointed. Not surprised, but very disappointed. I thought the Pellegrini appointment was a good one at the time. I was happy with it. I thought it showed that the board were starting to listen to fans and to understand us a little bit better. But now, with this appointment, apparently they've learned nothing. They're still exactly the same as they've always been. Just all their talk was empty. All this talk of ambition and moving the club forward. And as Joss said, when you see a club like Everton, who were also a struggling Premier League team, underachieving, very similar to ourselves. They can go out, be bold, make a statement signing like Ancelotti to say that they're determined to turn this thing around, get a really good manager in, and push on. And then our board go out and re-sign David Moyes, who, let's be honest, is just one of these journeyman English managers on the merry-go-round that keep popping up at various clubs, keep getting jobs somehow, despite very limited success. So it's really disappointing, to say the least. I could go further than disappointing. I'm quite angry about it, but unfortunately, this is par for the course with our owners. They've also gotten rid of Hugh Silas. Hugh Silas' son is gone, who was one of our scouts. So we're down to 6 scouts now. Whether they're gonna hire another director, I don't know. The alternative being, of course, that Sullivan will just take over transfer signings again, which is going to be, again, just another retrograde step. They're kind of, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, unfortunately, this seems to be the case with our owners. I'm just very disappointed in them.
Steve.
I'm loath to say anything bad about David Moyes because I think he's actually probably a really nice fella. However, the appointment from certainly Sullivan's point of view was the safe thing to do, wasn't it? He's had a little dabble, he's had a little gamble. It didn't pay off. He spent more money than he ever dreamed he would spend on signings, getting some new players in, and I think he hasn't liked it, and now he wants to go back to being the wide boy, and he wants to go back to the ducking and diving, and he wants to go back to, what's that saying, champagne tastes on I can't remember the fucking saying now, but Coca-Cola wages or whatever it is. So yeah, it's not great, but at the end of the day, we've got to get behind him now. I'm going to be there on Wednesday. I'm going to be cheering. I'm going to be giving him my support. That's all we can do as a fan base. We've got to get behind the man now, not Sullivan, Moyes.
Yeah. Ray.
Oh, guys, I don't know why you're so disappointed. He's done wonders at Real Sociedad, Sunderland, Man United. He's going to take us all the way to the top now, isn't he? The appointment for Moyes is, in my opinion, underwhelming. It's got no ambition. It's got no imagination. It is the safe option. And, it is what it is. It's David Moyes, long ball football. Or, sorry, as he said in his press conference, long pass over the top. So not long ball, long pass. I think I don't like the appointment. I'm not going to deny that, but there is some things that I don't mind about this appointment, and it's to do with like his contract and some of the things he did say in his interview, where he said that he wants to play attacking football, but he's not going to do that this season. This season, he's just going to get the points that he's going to do, which means the FA Cup is out of window. So, there goes our cup run after Gillingham. Might get through Gillingham, probably not. But it's all about Premiership football, and it's going to be long balls up to the top, knockdowns, and getting the second ball and trying to score. And that's basically about it. It's just underwhelming. It's just nothing there. I don't feel excited about it. But I'm excited about some of the things that is in his contract that we'll probably go in a bit. So, yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's created division, first and foremost. There's people like England Wayne, who I just pulled up, or was just pulled up right there, who think that we're all daft assholes for being so negative and all this other shit like he posted the other day. But then you have other people who are like, I'm selling my season ticket. Fuck this shit. I'm done. Bored out. You know what I mean? Like I'm giving up on it. And then you have both sides on social media anyway attacking each other about, you know, are you Moyes in? Are you Moyes out already? Like, what's going on? Like, why are you so negative, or why are you so happy? You know what I mean? It's a dull, backwards appointment. I mean, Ray and I were talking before any of you guys popped in off, you know, in the background studio there. Anything can happen in football, first and foremost. What is that contract extension? Ray was talking to me about that. He brought that up. He said, what's this extra bonus extension? Like if he meets a target, then he'll get an extra extension. You know, if he makes Europe, you know what I mean? And what if he does? You know what I mean? What if he gets the fucking team fit? What if he gets the team disciplined? What if he gets them playing the way we all thought they were going to play before the season started? We were all excited. Most of us were excited going into the season with the amount of signings we've had over the last 2 seasons. I think we have a much better squad. Yeah, much better squad than we had when we had Moyes last time. The club seems to have spent some money on some big names or big players in the key positions. Yeah, we still have fucking positions that we're struggling in. And but for the most part, what if? You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's going to happen. I mean, a lot of these other people, you know, I've been seeing lots of posts today too saying, oh, no, the West Ham way, here we go, we're getting relegated. And then you have other people, you know, getting upset with them. I mean, first and foremost, everybody has the right to their own opinion, first and foremost. Okay? So that's that. Secondly, the owners keep pulling the fucking rug out from under us over and over and over and over again. And then they keep covering it up with some fucking sugar. You know, all these little things that, like yes, getting a Felipe Anderson or getting an Allaire, you know, over the last couple of years, and bringing in Pellegrini, glossing over the fact that, you know, they fucking stole our home, for period. And they it's not just the promise. And a lot of people, that's another thing I keep seeing on social media that upsets me, is that a lot of people get upset saying the fact that, well, we were sold a dream. And we got, you know, at the time, we were all like, hey, yes, let's do Champions League. We were believing it, being gullible. And I don't think that's the fact. I think there was a massive hardcore base that said, I didn't want to move. I mean, there's a lot of people that did not want to fucking move, regardless of supposed Champions League. I mean, there's a lot of a lot of people, West Ham supporters, that felt that we could have done it without the fucking new stadium. We didn't need that extra money. If you had a good manager and you had the fortress that we had, and then you had just homegrown players through our academy, then maybe we could have done it ourselves. But then you got people calling those people fucking crazy. Again, back to the whole bickering and divisiveness shit. Like, listen, if someone says they're going to fucking boycott, let them fucking boycott. You know what I mean? If you agree with them, then boycott too. Okay? But if you don't agree with them, don't give them shit. And same thing the other way around. Like if someone says, you know what, I'm going to go to the match and I'm going to cheer on the team. I'm going to cheer on the team and cheer on Moyes. I'm still upset that we know. Just like Steve was saying, don't give Steve shit either. Like Steve has the right to fucking do that. It's his club, right? It's everybody's club. So we all have that. I'm glad I got that out of the fucking way. Anyway.
Come the game, I would be supporting the team, like just like Steve.
Same here. I still love the club. I still love the. I mean, I don't love the board, but I love the badge, right? So, but that's here nor there. So, back to the whole. I beat around the bush here. Sorry, guys. The appointment itself, when it was announced, I couldn't even get a positive sentence out of my mouth. If you guys could look back at the show, I was struggling to get something. I was trying to be positive. But I couldn't make a sentence. It was struggling. So, listen, I do hope that he does get us disciplined. And it seems as though, like, if you put your fucking brain on, right, for a second, everybody, put your thinking cap on, you think, if you were Moyes and you have this opportunity to not only show up the board saying you fucked up not extending my contract, but also wanting to win over the fans. right? You want to win over the support. He's not stupid. He's got people in his ears, or at least telling him, listen, the fans aren't happy. They are not happy with your appointment. I mean, you can't tell me nobody has told him that, right? In his life, or somebody must have gone up to him and said, listen, everybody's pissed. I mean, not everybody, but I mean, a lot of people.
Actually, Tim, in his press conference, I think one of the journalists at the press conference actually brought that up, that the fans weren't excited about this appointment. And, he just made the point that he just will have to win them over by winning games. And that's all he can do.
Exactly.
But I agree with you about supporting the team. And I think the fans will turn up for the Bournemouth game. And I think they will cheer the team on. They want them to win. I don't think any of this is a personal issue with David Moyes. So I don't think anyone is going to give David Moyes crap because they don't blame him. I don't think anyone's blamed David Moyes. He's a manager. He took a job. There's no blame on him for this. All of the anger, whatever it will be against Bournemouth, will be directed at the board, I believe.
Yes.
Now, if we play well and we're winning the game, things will probably go pretty smoothly. If we are a couple of goals down, 15 minutes to go, it could get very, very ugly in that stadium. And then the board will feel the wrath of the fans, possibly similar to what we saw, funnily enough, last time Moyes was in charge for the Burnley game when we were 3-0 down at home. So I think a lot will depend on how the Bournemouth game is going. If we're playing well and winning, I think things will be okay. It will stave off any kind of protest or show of any real anger. But like I say, if we're playing really poorly and losing that game, I think that's when it's really going to kick off.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
And for me, it'd be like, I would like to know what's the extensions in his contract. And we know the board love a little leak or so we'll probably see it in the next couple of days. And if he turns around and says in his contract that if he gets us an FA Cup win, or if he gets us in Europe, or if he gets us in the Champions League, I will be happy with that because that will show that he's in his statement that he's got ambitions to get that, and he reckons he can get that done with the team that he's got, with a few ads on in the January transfer window. Some of the players we are being linked with is pretty ridiculous, though. Joe Allen, I'm not a fan of that one, but yeah.
Giroud as well.
But the thing is, Ray.
Giroud again?
He doesn't.
Yeah, Giroud again.
Get the fuck out of here.
No.
Tim. He did turn around and said that's just rumours, though. That's not real, and that might be paper talk. Turn around and saying to us, "Oh, it's a lazy newspaper article, isn't it?"
Yeah.
Joe Allen is the. I think someone described him as the LD Andrea Pirlo.
Tim, did you hear any of that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, right. So I understand that's paper talk at the moment. That's just rumours. That's not been anything. I think that's lazy journalism because it has come out that the West Ham are actively looking for a centre midfielder as their box-to-box player. I'm a bit worried that it might be someone like Joe Allen, who is just someone like Mark Noble. Why? And Snodgrass. Why get another person like that?
Well,
The only positive about that might be that, if we were to sell Sanchez and Joe Allen were to come in as his replacement, as a kind of backup midfielder, he would absolutely be an improvement on Sanchez.
Yeah.
I agree.
We don't need to be buying backup midfielders, though, do we? We need to be buying starting midfielders. That's the trouble.
It's 2019. 32-year-old Mark Noble still starts for us. Like, I love Nobes, obviously, but is he the way forward?
No.
He's
Yeah,
But to be honest, I doubt there's going to be any movement on kind of major signings in January. I think Moyes will look to just pad the squad a bit. But I think any kind of big signings we'll make, I think, are going to have to wait until the summer, I would imagine.
You're going to see loads of loans. Like, you're going to see 2 or 3 loans, I reckon, with the option to buy at the end of the season. Because that's what they like doing. They don't like spending out the money straight away. They like to put the loans in and then maybe buy them at the end of it or not.
Yeah. I mean, like last time we signed João Mario when David Moyes was in charge, and I thought that was a really good signing. But but we never spend big in January. Like our last January signing was Samir Nasri on a free, who played like 6 games for us. So, but I do think that Moyes, the team is a lot better than when Moyes was last year, which is, I think, a big positive. Instead of Winston Reed, we now have Fabian Balbuena and Issa Diop. And instead of Kouyaté, we have an improved Declan Rice, you know? Yeah. Instead of Zabaleta, we have Fred too, I know, like, but he's minutely better than Zabaleta. And our strike force is just, like, it's no longer Andy Carroll, it's Sebastian Haller. So I think that there's definitely positives, and Moyes could definitely work with this team because it's just a lot better than it was.
Yeah. He's even turned around and said that as well, isn't he? In his statements, he turned around and said he's got a better team than what he expected.
Yes.
Sheezy in the chat room mentions Frank Kessie from AC Milan. That's the only name that I've seen us, well, paper talk anyway, linked with so far that interests me whatsoever.
Someone from Juventus earlier.
Really?
Yeah.
From Genk as well.
Rabbit or whatever his name is.
Rabbit.
Yeah. I saw that earlier. I don't know how true that is.
You mean Rebic?
Yeah.
Rebic
is at Milan. It'd be Rabiot.
Yeah, things haven't worked out for him in Milan, and I think they would be willing to do a deal. The interesting thing with that one is that there was some talk that AC Milan have been showing a lot of interest in Balbuena, so it could be possible to do some kind of a deal there where Balbuena would go to AC Milan and Rebic would come to us.
That's an interesting deal.
Can someone tell Tim that we're getting James Tompkins back? That would cheer him up.
No, man. Oh God, no. I'm at a loss for words again. I don't know what this fucking Moyes guy. I don't know what he's doing to me, and it's not just him. It's thinking about again those signings again. I mean, other than Mario on loan, you guys are right, man. There was nothing. Nothing.
The only other thing he did, you remember in that January transfer window, obviously he brought Hugel in for 9 million on deadline day. But that same window, he brought in Patrice Evra on a free, and I think Evra started 3 games, and in all 3 of the games he started, we conceded 4 goals.
Yeah.
Interesting to see what he wants to do. I know he turned around in press conference and turned around and said that he's just concentrating on the squad that we've got here right now. So come the new year, we'll probably look at the first game against Bournemouth, see what actually happens. But all the West Ham fans, everyone can see that we clearly need a box-to-box midfielder. If that is not our number one priority, then I don't know what is.
Right. A young one, too.
Yeah, especially if he's going to play the formation that he's more likely he's going to play with, 3 at the back, 2 wing backs, 2 in midfield, 2 behind the striker and that, or 3 in midfield and 2 behind it. If he plays it like that, then it'd be interesting to see who actually starts and who doesn't play. Can you see someone like
I remember last time he was here with that formation, he played Cresswell as the left-sided centre-back and Masuaku as the wing-back. So whether he's going to use Cresswell there again or he's just going to go with Ogbonna as the left centre-back and Diop in the centre, Balbuena on the right at 3 with Masuaku and Fredericks as the wing-backs. I suspect that's what he'll do.
Yeah, because last year he didn't have any choice, did he? Really, he didn't have any. He didn't have the back 3 or the back 4 if you include Winston Reid, and you got Rice that could drop back. So it'd be interesting if Rice drops back into centre defence, because that's where he was playing for Moyes.
Yeah, I just don't think he can afford to do that with the lack of midfielders that we have there. He needs Rice in there in the midfield at the moment, I think. So if he wants to play Rice as a centre back, I think he's going to have to wait till next season when he can get the midfielders in that he needs. I dread to think what would happen if he dropped Rice back into centre back position and put Carlos Sanchez in his place. I mean, Jesus Christ.
And Jack Wilshere. Oh man.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, I've always said that I think that I prefer. I mean, compared to what we have right now, I prefer to see Declan Rice playing a centre back role or a third center back role been playing defensive midfielder. But again, like you said, as long as it's not Carlos Sanchez in his place, is there nobody down in the under 23s that play that position, or is there nobody on? I don't know. I mean, January's coming up, and we can pick up somebody.
Yeah, there is. Oh, God, who is it? What's his name?
Cullen?
There is no, Cullen's out on loan, but he could come back and play that role on a recall.
Yeah.
Jeez, I hate when I draw a blank. There's a young Ireland international that plays a role in under 23.
Coventry?
Yeah.
I take it. I mean, listen, Moyes has been saying a lot about youth and, appreciating what Leipzig and the Red Bull organization, Salzburg and all that have done with their youth. And I would love to see him start playing Scully and Holland and Coventry and so on, giving them some minutes. A lot of people will say, why would you do that if we're in a struggling position where we're at? I mean, I think mainly because they'd be playing their asses off for positions. I mean, and they are all talented. They wouldn't be where they're at right now if they didn't have fucking talent, right? And if you look at the shit we've had on the pitch lately, I'd take the risk. I don't know how to risk it, but let's talk about Bournemouth real quick. I'm gonna start with Steve this time. What are your thoughts going into the match? What do you think we'll do? I mean, how do you think we'll set up? I mean, I know it's pretty much up in the air. No one really knows. But what would you like to see?
I would like to see a 3-5-2. I think.
Okay.
I'd like to, or maybe not a 3-5-2. Maybe a 3-2-3-2 kind of funky thing, or maybe even a. I don't even know what I'm talking about here, do I?
Too much San Miguel?
Yeah, probably. No, what I'd like to see is up front. Now, this might be a bit controversial, but up front, I'd like to see Antonio up front as the lone striker, with Anderson and Haller sitting behind him, like doubling up as number 10s, if you like. Rice centre midfield with, we got no choice at the moment. It'd have to be Noble alongside him, and then the two wing backs speak for themselves, don't they? Uncle Arthur on one side and Fredericks on the other, and then at the back, Ogbonna. Now, I'd like to see Balbuena in the middle and the other guy on the right, because I think Balbuena. There was something. Which game was it now? Was it the last game at home where Balbuena could be heard? The line's on me. The line's on me, and he was trying to hold the line. So if he's doing that, he needs to be in the middle, I think, to marshal that defence.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I mean, I listen. I'm not opposed to anything at this point. But
of course, that then leaves
up.
That leaves no Lanzini. That leaves no Fornells. No Snodgrass, and I know he's liked by a lot of people. But as we agreed last night, Lanzini's probably not what he used to be, so that won't be much of a miss. But I think the only one that formation that I just picked there would be unfair on is probably Fornells, because he is starting to come into his own now, isn't he?
He is, yeah. I like a 4-4-2 diamond with wing backs instead of a flat 4, which was kind of like a 2-3-2-1-2. And having Rice in that defensive midfield role that can drop back into a 3-man. I mean, he's basically set up as a defensive midfielder, but could drop back if necessary when you have the two wing backs if they're too far back. Shit, man. Listen, Bournemouth are not in good form right now, and I am worried that if we don't have the luck of the first match with the new manager behind us, if that's just not even a thing, and we're same old West Ham, then writing's on the wall that we're going to get smashed by Bournemouth because they're in shit form. They need to win. And what happens when a team is in shit form and needs to win? Right? Well, that's the way it's been all season. Hopefully, again, let's go out and fucking win 3-1. How about that? Let's do that. And the last match that Moyes managed, West Ham, I was there, and we won 3-1. We beat Everton, and I would love to see that against Bournemouth. And then hopefully onwards and upwards from there. But anyway, Joss, what are your thoughts going into the game?
So obviously it's a game that is very delicate, and it goes one way and the fans are jubilant, it goes another way, and the fans, it could be another Burnley game, you know. I think that I would like to see Moyes put out a 3-4-2-1 where we have Haller up top and then Anderson and Fornals really close to him, and because they're both very, very like interplay oriented, and I think that they would do a good job playing off Haller. And it was kind of like Haller had that same thing at Frankfurt with Jovic and Rebic on either side of him. So it'd be something like that. And then we'd have the wing backs of Masuaku and Fredericks, and then Rice, Noble, and then the back three, Balbuena, Ogbonna, Diop, and then Fabianski in goal. I think that would be good. It would be a good way to neutralize Callum Wilson, who hasn't scored in 4 games or in a lot of games. So, you know,
Yeah.
one against us.
He's bound to smash one against us.
You know,
No, it's just that even if they weren't in poor form, I mean, Callum Wilson and
Josh
my
King.
boy Josh King there, the guy who wants to fucking sign so many times. They always score against us whenever they play against us.
Right.
It's
so
just
I mean,
like
I'm not
Lukaku reborn. You know?
exactly. I'm not looking forward to the game. But I feel like it will be interesting. And again, I think it's not Moyes' fault that he was hired, you know? So I don't think that any hatred should be forced upon him. Any sort of anger should be forced to the board. That's just what I think personally. I won't be there, so I don't know. But yeah.
Before I get over to Ray, and then Tommy, in the chat room, everybody, you want to just start posting your thoughts on the match? Like, basically, let us know you think it's a win. You think it's same old West Ham, and we're going to get fucking beaten by the team that needs it more. Let us know your thoughts.
Disgusted at that.
Let us know what you think for the match. If you have any predictions or anything like that, and I'll pull it up on the screen as it goes along, unless you're Wayne. Ray, what are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts on the match?
Well, I actually think Moyes is very lucky to get this game because he is going to be coming up against a Bournemouth team that are not in form, got their best players injured. They've got their striker whose contract's running out of the season, same as their manager. So they're kind of in a little limbo sort of direction at the moment. So, and yeah, they could get relegated themselves. They're in that little cluster of teams that are right down there. So I think Moyes can actually pull out a win on this one. I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think it's going to be ugly. I think it's going to be a lot of long balls. But I do expect us to get a result. And, you know, maybe for our first game under Moyes, where he's just going to be working the team hard to get their fitness back up to scratch, because we can see throughout the last few games that their fitness is nowhere near good enough.
Yeah.
For him then, because he still hasn't got his backroom staff all sorted. You know, he's trying to get Stuart Pearce in, but he's got other commitments that he's trying to iron out. He's got a couple of other people that he's trying to get in. So he's only had till Friday. So if we're going to play, and it's going to be dirty, then you know we may have to accept it for that one game. But I predict that it's not going to take a lot for the fans to turn.
You're right. I agree. Tommy.
Yeah, I've been kind of toing and froing on this one.
Yeah, me too.
You can give reasons why we'd win it. You can give reasons why we wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'd say Bournemouth are crippled with injury. Some of their better players are missing too, particularly Nathan Ake, their centre-back, has been excellent for them. So, and their form is just horrible. They look very, very beatable. Plus the fact that we're at home. So, you know, that kind of makes you think, yeah, we can beat these guys. But then on the other hand, our form is terrible. And I know they talk about his new manager bounce, but I just don't know how much Moyes can do in a couple of days. You know, with a couple of days training. Excuse me. It's hard to know what the atmosphere is going to be like in there.
Yeah.
Start of the game, or the players going to be a bit nervy. So it's a very tough game to call. I think Ray is right. All things being equal, this is the kind of game you want to start your new career with at West Ham as manager, home to Bournemouth, because on paper it looks like the most winnable game possibly, you know, in the whole league. But I'm just torn. It's hard to know what to expect. So in the end, I kind of sat on the fence a little bit and went for a 1-1. We can probably fully expect Callum Wilson to score against us as usual. But yeah, I'm going to go 1-1. But look, this could be anything.
Holy
to be honest.
Shit.
Nathan Aki is injured, so that's good.
That's very good.
Damn. Wow. You weren't kidding, man. They are fucking hurting. Ooh.
Yeah, they've got quite a few people out, which is
very good.
Which is good. Nathan Akin is one of the injured people. Then, yeah, that's only good for our strikers because he's a big old lump, and I would love to have him in our team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Diop at least.
Yeah, I listen. I really do believe that. I'm on the fence again. I either think we're gonna win 3-1. I really do, and we're gonna smash them because they're so fucking hurt, and we have the new manager, and I think in just a few days he possibly could pull off something. Mourinho did it with Tottenham. Remember that? Remember when he only had a few days' notice against West Ham? What he did to us?
Yep.
You know what I mean? I know it's Mourinho, but it's Tottenham. I mean, whatever. And we're playing shit anyway, no matter who it was. But, you know, anything's possible. Anything's possible. I mean,
just as talking earlier, I just didn't get a chance to kind of talk about maybe our lineup.
Yeah.
Just a couple of things I was thinking about it, you know, who we might choose. In his last stint here, he loved Lanzini. Loved him, played him all the time. Now that was when Lanzini was playing well. I know he's had bad injuries. He's struggled to get his form back. And I know we have a lot of fans now who are saying, oh, fuck, Lanzini's useless, just sell him. Lanzini is still our best player with everyone playing in top form. He has a lot of talent. So if Moyes can get him playing, that would be a huge bonus. Also, another interesting thing is a few years back, when Moyes was toward the end of his Everton career, he tried to sign Yarmolenko a couple of times for Everton. So he likes Yarmolenko a lot. So it'll be interesting to see if he gets much game time. Yeah, there's a couple of things there. I think he will go with 3 at the back with wing backs, then 3 in midfield, and he will usually play a number 9 and a number 10 rather than having 2 up top. Side by side and one just behind. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. I think we can probably predict the back 5, as it were, wing backs and the 3 centre backs. The midfield will be interesting to see. If it was me, I'd go Fornells, Rice, Noble, probably with Antonio and Haller ahead of them. But I don't know what he thinks about Anderson. I know he likes Lanzini. I know he likes Yarmolenko. So, you know, he's going to have a little bit of a headache, actually, on that formation, who he's going to play with.
Yeah. Because I really don't I mean, I don't know what it is. I can't get over the fact that I just don't I don't like Antonio. I want him sold. He should have been sold 3 years ago when he was, 26 years old, or anyway. He's not a striker. He's a winger, and I understand. What's his name? Moyes has done things like what he did with Arnautovic and stuff like that. I would love what you're saying, Tommy, if it was Jesus Christ, no, that word almost came out of my fucking mouth. Yarmolenko up top, and then Allaire just behind him. You know what I mean? I would love that, and I think that Moyes would probably like that too. Like you said, I think he would probably like Yarmolenko, a nice tall Fellaini type, but striker. And the guy who actually plays striker for his national team, he's not a winger. He's not a winger, people. He's not. And Antonio's not a striker. He's a fucking winger. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Anything else anybody want to talk about before we? I'll go around. If you guys come up with another topic, we got 20 minutes. So if you got another topic to discuss, we can go around and then
what do you guys think? Right, on a realistic thing, the board have gone back to David Moyes. Do you reckon that's a case of like they know he's a good manager? They feel like they probably did wrong by him by getting rid of him, and they had the opportunity to give him a second chance at the whip. Do you reckon that's kind of brave for them to say, look, we've actually made a mistake by hiring Pellegrini. We should have gave you that extra contract that you asked for. I think a lot of fans would have accepted that last time, maybe not as more so than what they have now. Or do you just think, the board's just got it wrong again?
I think there's a mixture of things here, and I think that is part of it, Ray, because I think it's kind of well known now that when he came to the end of the season in his first stint, David Sullivan wanted to move on from him and bring someone else in, but David Gold was very much in David Moyes' corner and wanted to give him a contract to continue on. So I think that's an element of it too. I think once they knew Pellegrini was going, I think David Gold probably went to bat for David Moyes and convinced Sullivan that, let's just bring him back because, we probably should have given him more time last time, seeing as he, fulfilled his task last time in keeping us up. So I think there's that too. I also think he's cheap, which they like, obviously. He won't be on anything like the money Pellegrini was getting. Nothing like it. Plus, he was out of work, so there's no compensation due to another club that we're taking him from. So I think he just ticked a lot of their kind of boxes, basically, and I think that's why he got the job again.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
And that's probably why Pellegrini got as long as he did, because Sullivan was too stubborn to sack him because he wanted him to be a success. And maybe that's why he got so much money in the transfer window, even though net spend is not that great. Yeah,
Sullivan committed himself to a gamble, and when it looked like it wasn't working, he just wanted to push, like all gamblers do. They want to push it just that one more game.
Yeah.
And hopefully the result will come round. But in the end, you have to cut your losses, don't you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I forgot that I was supposed to do some hammers polls here, so that's what I was missing. I'm like, why do I have 20 minutes left and there's nothing to talk about? I'm like, oh yeah, because I was going to do hammers polls. Let's pull some of these up. These should be interesting.
Anyway, so.
All right. So David Moyes has said in the West Ham United official YouTube channel that he expects someone to get the club near the top of the table soon. Is that someone the Canny Scott? Yes or no? Let's go counterclockwise. So let's go with Joss and go around. Yes or no?
No. And I would like to meet the man that he thinks could, because that man must be able to work wonders with this board and these players.
Yeah.
I don't know if this man exists right now, or woman.
Or, at least this current board can't afford him, really. And I don't think anyone who would want to, and that person might, like you said, will not want to work with this fucking board.
Yeah.
Tommy.
No, I think we'll all be absolutely stunned if David Moyes gets anywhere near the top of the table.
Yeah.
That would just be completely out of left field. I think David Moyes would struggle to get us in the top half, to be honest. I remember when he was here before. I remember the style of play. I remember some of the beatings we took. I think we survived that season because there were 3 teams that were worse than us. And I really, really hope that's the case again this season. So it's just a hard no for me.
Steve?
Sure, why not? If he can get the team fit and he can get them passing the ball and moving and running fast, and they start playing again like the world-class players some of them are, why not?
Right.
Because I don't think he can do that.
Oh, I think he can. I think he can get them fit and get them running. He's done it before.
Ray?
Yeah, I said to Tim off air earlier in the green room when I had
the green room. I like that.
I had a cheeky little bet before Moyes was announced, probably just after Pellegrini got sacked. I put a £10 bet on West Ham to win the not to win, to get in the Champions League this season. So I'm kind of hoping he does for my own benefit here. And it all depends. I think it all depends who he gets in the transfer window. We are currently 16 points off the top 4 position and 11 points off of the top 6. So it's not a massive man. So if we get a couple of wins under our belt, that catapults us miles up that league quite a bit. So there is potential. I think under Moyes we probably will finish top half. I really do. I think we'll finish 10th. And that's my prediction.
That's nice.
Have you seen our fixture list for the second half of the season, Ray?
Yeah, it's not great, but I just hope the West Ham beat Liverpool because then I can tell the fuckers to shut up.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like there's a tie, and I'll break the tie. And my heart says, I would love to see him do that, but I don't see him being the one to do it. So I'm just going to say no. And as you can see, Twitter is known for this too. If you ever follow these Hammers polls, a lot of them are answered based off of people's heart and passion, not, the realistic or the I don't know, what's most likely to happen. But anyway, 67%.
There's a lot of cynicism running through the club as well, or through the fan base as well at the moment, isn't there? So
100%. So yes, it's a passion. No,
Exactly.
Passion. Yeah. So I can understand that. And again, I just really hope that no matter what people's feelings are and thoughts are, that everyone has the right to their own personal, feelings, like me hating Antonio or Fredericks or or other people too. But I'm not going to go on because I could.
The answer for this
but the point is, just let people say what they got to say, and then don't get pissed off when people boycott, and don't get pissed off when people cheer on Moyes either. Let's just keep on moving. So anyway, will we see Jack Wheelchair again this season? Ray already answered no, so let's go with Steve.
No. Well, if we do, it won't be on the field.
Yeah. Tommy.
I don't know exactly what the injury situation is with him at the moment, but I don't think it's a season-ending issue. So I expect at some point we'll see him in the matchday squad. Whether we'll see him ever start a game, I doubt. But I think at some point he'll make the matchday squad. He may not play any minutes, or if he does, he might break down again, or he might break down on training again. Who the hell knows? So I think we'll see very little of him, but he probably will make a couple of cameo appearances.
Yeah.
It's got to be mental issues that he's got, isn't it? It's got to be something that in his
100%,
mind.
100%.
Because they said, I think he's got a groin injury, but it's not that bad. But I think it's got to be mental, isn't it? It's really got to be. He's got to be worried that he's going to be crippled for life or something like that.
Joss.
I think Tom's right. We'll see him in a matchday squad. He might come on in the final 5 minutes of a game, but I don't see him starting. Especially, I think he's way down in the pecking order now, behind Snodgrass and Noble and Rice. But I don't know. Maybe David Moyes is a secret admirer of Jack Wilshere. And Maybe he'll come back and have a performance, and he'll boost us all the way up to the title, and we pip Liverpool on the final day of the title, and everything's great.
Yeah.
So
it says here Jack continues with some pain in his groin, so he's not working with the squad.
I will put a.
Malenko's injured as well here.
I would be willing to put a 20 on it, man, and say that all these people and all these, paper talk bullshit that say that he's joining the MLS, Jack Wilshere is going to be shipped off and we're not going to have to worry about him anymore. Nobody in their right fucking mind would buy Jack Wilshere. Nobody. I'm talking more people would probably buy. You have a better chance of selling Roberto. With his injury history, the guy doesn't even fucking play anymore. And you're telling me the guy's going to pass a fucking medical somewhere? Absolutely not. He will never play for another club. Unless it's fucking non-league or some shit, which he won't do because, again, it's a mental issue and he's too afraid to play. Ain't happening. He ain't playing again. So,
Tim,
what's up?
He came to us and we signed other.
Which is why
people.
we hate the board. It's
Right.
one of those million reasons why.
And now,
stupid decisions.
Out of all these thousands and thousands and thousands of clubs all around the world, we can't be the only one stupid club. Surely there's another one somewhere we could.
Not West Ham stupid.
I don't know, man. Yeah, well, there's stupid and then there's West Ham. I mean, sorry, Dildo Brothers stupid. Yeah. So I'm gonna say no. And yeah, 78% say no. Again, it's a fresh poll. It's only been up for 10 hours. There's a day left. 136 votes, but still, it looks significantly no. But anyway, next one we've already talked about, which was the score predictions and all that good stuff. But this one's interesting. So this is from Tony Pearson, or at Tony Pearson 2. All right, go away. There you go. I'm sure others agree that Moyes will definitely pick Mark Noble for the Bournemouth game. But can we afford to play him and Declan together in the midfield? So the options here are play only Nobes, play only Declan. No, we need more creativity, or yes, they're solid together. Let's start with Ray this time.
Yeah, I think we're going to play Nobles. I think we can afford to play Nobles because he does have some good passes every now and again on him. And I think if he has a creative front three, like Anderson, like Lanzini and Haller, if he can get them three working together, and if that's who he picks, that does mean Antonio stays on the bench. Then I think that could be a good option to have Noble. He's going to want someone else in midfield that's going to be stable and that's going to work with the defence, because he's already said in his press conference he's going to be more defensive minded. He's going to be doing long balls, and that might help Anderson and Lanzini get the knockdowns from there. Maybe.
Steve.
Yes, he will. Not because they're solid together, but because at the moment that's probably our best pairing. That's really all we've got at the moment, isn't it?
Well, unless you bring up some youth, you know what I mean. I think there's some standouts there that need some minutes, and we talked about commentary. We talked about commentary already.
Are you going to come in as David Moyes, and then 2 or 3 days later start rolling that dice already? Surely
it might not be dice. It might be where. If you've seen the video of them at training, I did see Holland. I didn't really notice if there was any other youth players in the training, on the training pitch. But I mean, if they were there, and all of a sudden Moyes, he's been around the game long enough. He sees something that he likes, and he might say, "Hey, you know what? This kid's looking. I think this is what we need. This might be that piece that." You never know. Who knows? Probably not going to happen.
Put him on the bench. Give him half an hour. I think to start the game, it's going to be Rice and Noble.
You're probably right. Tommy.
Yeah. Sorry.
Can we? So the question is, can we afford to play him and Declan together in the midfield? Yes. No reason we can't do that. I think we're probably all in the same boat that we would like his starting days to be numbered. But I think realistically, we're going to have to get that box-to-box midfielder that we desperately need in the summer in order to really properly replace Noble. You could throw a little curveball. You could play Fornells beside Rice, Fornells just knock passes around left and right, just sew everything together, That would be a way to go. I wouldn't mind that, actually. I wouldn't mind having Fornells in beside Rice, especially if you're going to have a 3.
Yeah.
You could do that. But I think like every other manager before him, since Noble made his debut, he's going to go with Rice and Noble. So, yes, I think you absolutely can afford to play Rice and Noble together. Yeah, no reason you can't do that.
Thank you, Ben, for the Tompkins reference in the chat room. I see everybody drinking in there. That's cool. What's your Josh? Sorry.
I think that they will play together. Rice has become a very good center mid, I think, this season. He's not only just passing sideways and backwards now. You can actually you can watch him kind of break some lines. He's starting to learn and starting to play more adventurous passes, which is always great to see. Noble, I think, will play. As we've seen with previous managers, you just can't. They haven't ignored him. I think Moyes. I think he's a big admirer of Noble, and I think the feeling is mutual. I think Noble likes Moyes. It's also a game where, new manager, you're going to need your captain in there to do sort of the leadership of the, just provide some leadership in that sort of, and play that sort of role. I also do like the idea of playing Fornells deeper. I feel like we could see a little bit of, remember Lanzini used to play a little deeper as well, and he did all right there. I think Fornells could just do it better, play some better pieces, and I think it would be nice to see. I wanted that kind of earlier in the season as well. So if we see Fornells play deeper, I'd really like. I think it'd be a good fit.
Yeah, I agree. So I guess the answer would be, in my mind, yes, they'll probably. They'll definitely play together. I don't know what formation exactly where Moyes is going to do, but whether it's 2 or 3, I think you'll definitely see Rice and Noble on the team sheet. Basically, if you're Moyes and you're trying to please everybody right now, he does know that everybody's not happy with the appointment, or not everybody, a lot of people aren't happy with the appointment. He's not going to bench the fucking captain in the first game, right?
Right.
It's just not going to happen. So I would say yes, but that's not that they're solid together. They both have, they don't have a perfect record, either of them. You know what I'm saying? It's not like Declan's had an amazing game every single game this season either. More often than not, yes, and more often than Noble, yes, but he's not perfect either. So I don't know. Let's see what they say. I'll say yes, they're solid together, and yes, that's of course the passionate choice. Man, yeah, well, that's that. 1.9% said play only Dubs. Oh, Jesus.
They're crazy.
All right, well, this is the final question of the evening here before we do a little wrap up. In the Moyes press conference today, he said he'd been looking at Leipzig and was impressed how it's working. The average age of the team is 23.9 years old. For this to happen at West Ham, it would mean that the likes of Fabianski, Noble, Antonio, Snodgrass, etc. would be moved on. I know exactly what Wayne McMullen's thinking about this one, as he loves every single one of those 4 names more than anybody else. Would you like to see this happen? Would you like to see them move on? For youth, I guess that's what they're saying. Whether it means our youth or means us signing younger players, I guess that's what it means by offloading these guys. Let's start with Joss and go backwards.
So Fabianski, I think, is still a very good keeper. Who, keepers can play until they're like 35 or something, or 36. They have a sort of longevity about them. So Fabianski, I feel like he can stay for a little bit longer. Noble is interesting because obviously West Ham fan came through the ranks, and we wouldn't like. It'd be weird to see him anywhere else.
Yeah.
So it's sort of that nostalgia kind of thing. Like obviously, he's not up to par anymore now. I've said that in the previous seasons, and he's proved me wrong every time. So let's hope that it's the same way. So I'd like to see Noble. If maybe have a sort of backup role, or a sort of like becoming used to being on the bench a little more. That would be, and I think he's said before that he would be open to doing so if it means the team progresses, which I think is a very good way to think, especially for the captain. Antonio and Snodgrass. Now I like Antonio. He is a winger. I don't think he's a striker. I definitely think he's a winger. He's still fast. He's still got some tricks up his sleeve. But again, maybe he comes on in the last 20 minutes of games rather than starting them.
That's where he's amazing. Yeah, I think he's great there.
Yeah, it'd be like bringing on Andy Carroll against a tired defense. Like they've been playing 70 minutes, and they would hate to see Michael Antonio come on, who's like,
oh god, he's a beast. Yeah, that's the perfect time for him. Yeah,
that'd be the perfect game plan because he can run in behind. He's strong enough. He's got the skills. The defense just wouldn't be able to deal with him. And then Snodgrass, he works hard, obviously, but I don't know about. He's got some all right free kicks, but other than that, I don't know what else he does. But obviously, he's a good person to have around the dressing room. The players seem to like him a lot. They seem to admire him. He seems to be sort of like the friendly guy. So I'd like to see him kind of stay, but again, maybe be like Noble, play more of a background role. I feel like that would be the way forward.
Yeah. The reason why I like a 3-5-2 or the 4-4-2 diamond with the wing backs is because with our squad that fits. We don't have effective wingers. Wingers are supposed to be able to cross the ball too, and we are much better at kicking corner kicks than we are crossing the ball. Like, we're more effective doing that. And Snodgrass is the first man that comes to mind when doing an effective corner. But I mean, none of these guys can do an effective cross. So anyway, there's no reason for these fucking wingers. And but anyway, before we go to Tommy, I'll say it right now. I mean, Fabianski, that injury that he had, I mean, I think he may have been rushed back. I think that's a hip injury for a goalkeeper, man. That's not good, dude. You know what I mean? It's not fucking good. And it's mental as well. I mean, you're talking about Jack Wheelchair. I mean, Fabianski's got to be thinking about shit. You know, that's his livelihood right there, man. I mean, he has problems with his hips. He's fucking done. And he wasn't the best goalkeeper to begin with. So I'm not saying he's bad. I mean, I've said before, like, I don't. It's not that I don't like the guy. It's just I don't think he's the fucking messiah that everybody calls him out to be. So, and he proved that against who the fuck we just played? Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, Leicester. He just proved that against the Leicester reserves. He proved it against the Leicester reserves, dude. Anyway, Noble, again, I mean, the guy has genius in him. I mean, his mind's there. It's just his body ain't there all the time. But he does the great long passes. He's always on point with that shit. But that's all he's got, man. I mean, to me. And Antonio, I mean, look at his fucking age. Dude, he's going to be 30 years old. Or he's just turned 30 or is turning 30 like right now. And it's time's up, dude. I mean, unless we keep him, like Joss was saying, you know, coming off the bench and fucking burying people when they're starting to get tired. That's the perfect time for Antonio. You know, because if you do it the other way around, Antonio burns himself out, and then he's useless at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, he gets to a point, and then, oh man, you know, he ran too hard. Now he's injured again. Oh, here we go. No, I mean, you play him 30 minutes, the last 30 minutes of every match, 20, 30 minutes of every match, and that will work wonders. But anyway, Tommy, let's just so you guys know, I'm sorry, I did run overtime a little bit, so let's wrap it up with these answers here, okay? So, Tommy. can't hear Tommy.
Neither can I.
Tommy's on mute. Unmute yourself, Tommy.
Oh, there we go. Thanks, Tim.
You're welcome.
I would like to see a younger, more energetic side. I think it's one of the things we're lacking. There's some pace and energy. Fabianski's fine. He's a very good goalkeeper. He doesn't need to be moved on. If we put Fabianski up for sale, there'd be a line of teams. They'd be lining up for Fabianski. He's a very good keeper. But Noble, we can't sell, can we? He's Mr. West Ham. Been the captain for God knows how many years. He will retire at West Ham. He deserves to retire at West Ham.
Yep.
Although I would, after this season, have him as more of a bit part player, more of a squad player, and would bring in fresh legs there. Antonio, again, the same thing. This season, I think he's playing fantastically well. But again, from next season, I think we either sell him or use him as an impact sub. Snodgrass, yeah, he works very hard, but again, he's not getting any younger. I have no problem selling him, moving him on. I think we need to inject youth into the team, and we have to do it next summer. We have to start doing it immediately. It's just horrible watching us just hobbling around the fucking pitch. You know, lack of pace, lack of energy. We had that horrible stat earlier in the season where we've covered the least amount of ground of any Premier League team. That's got to change if we're going to move forward. So yes, an injection of quality, young, energetic, pacey players is exactly what we need.
Yeah. Steve.
Yes, I mean, no disrespect at all to whoever asked Hammers posed this question, but it's obvious the answer is yes. It's just the natural thing that there's a constant recycle, or not recycling, a constant out and in of your players and your talent.
Yeah.
Rotation is the word I was looking for, not recycling, rotation. So all your fresh young players are coming in as your older players are dropping off. Where they go after that is another story. But yeah, in answer to that question, yes.
Yeah, you can't keep clinging on to, players who are. I mean, listen, Snodgrass. I mean, we all love him. I mean, I love him to death. You know, I love Antonio's personality. You know, and Noble. I mean, I'll always love him. You know, and Fabianski's he's a good keeper. You're right. Yeah, when time's up, time's up. Anyway, yeah. Ray.
I like the way the question's said. It's for this to happen at West Ham would mean the likes of the certain people, because the first two people, Noble and Fabianski, there's no way we can sell them because there's too many other players we need to sell. I've got a list here of 7 people that need to go before them two, in my opinion. So
I would sell an injured goalkeeper in a fucking second. Absolutely. Once you have an injury like that, it's damaged goods, just like Lanzini. Damaged goods. We keep in Antonio, damaged goods. Once they get older, their injuries become more. Once you get injured like that, your injuries become more frequent. And rather than have them injured with us, sell them on, get the money for them, and let them get injured with somebody else, right?
Well, I would like to have his experience at the club.
Sorry. Well, go ahead, Ray. I'm sorry for cutting you off. Sorry. Mute me if you want to. I don't care.
I think there's 7 other people that's got to go before them two. But I do understand that they haven't got long left. Two seasons and they're done, probably. Let's be honest. So it's a case of, do we want to keep him for his experience so Nathan Trott can learn off him? Or do we need to get another goalkeeper in at the end of the season? I don't think we need to change goalkeeper in January. I think we can cope until the end of the season.
Yeah.
Same with Nobles. But Antonio, I would sell if the price was right, because we are on a limited time scale how much money we're going to get him. So if someone comes in for 25, 30 million, we've probably got to bite their hands off and take it.
We should have. We should have when Palace offered whatever they offered for him a couple of years ago, Antonio. And I said it over the summer. I'm like, this is the summer to sell Lanzini and sell Antonio, etc., because they're getting older and then injuries happen. And, it's time to sell them on, because after Lanzini had that major injury last year and he came back too soon, he just looked rusty. And, yeah, sure, he started to show signs of, his old self at the end of the season. So did everybody else. But, again, Antonio is another one where, like, yeah, he got injured again. You know what I mean? He too got injured. And he hasn't played every single game. And not only that, the games he's played, he hasn't played the whole freaking 90 minutes every single game. And he looks exhausted all the time. It's like those are the type of guys that go on. And that even means like Yarmolenko. You know what I'm saying? If someone came in for Yarmolenko, bye. No offense. I love him to death. Me personally, I know a lot of people don't care one way or another with him, but I love him. And anyway.
Who's on your list to get rid of? Especially in January and versus the end of the season?
Well, the names everybody's saying to get rid of, we can't get rid of, like Roberto and Sanchez, and no one wants them, and Wilshere and everybody else. So those are the obvious ones, right? And then the guys that I would get rid of would be, I wouldn't shop, but if someone came in with an offer for Yarmolenko, Antonio, Snodgrass,
Double L.
So again, that's another one. That's another one that ain't gonna, no one's gonna buy him. You know what I mean? Anyway, listen. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I really appreciate that. I really always have a good time with you guys. I just had a good time with Ray and Steve the other day, and Tommy like last week, and Joss as well. And listen, thank you guys so much for popping in tonight. I appreciate it, and I'm pretty sure I'll see you guys in one show or another on this network. Real quick, I just want to thank everybody in the chat room. I saw people like Katie and Tebow and ended up popping in, and Robbie and who else here? Foshizi, man. Me and him had some similar, similar ideas. Roger Nixie over on Facebook, appreciate it. Make sure you come on over to YouTube and click subscribe on our channel. And Wally World popped in too. That was kind of cool. So, and Jim Stebbins and everybody else. So, listen, thank you all for watching. Make sure you're subscribed. Check out our new website, AmericanHammers.net, and also our shop, AHTV.threadless.com. And yeah, I think our next show is going to be, I don't know if we have a show tomorrow. I know we have a show Wednesday with We Are the Girls of Claire and Blue will be back. That'll be cool, 2 p.m. Eastern time. And I don't know what else is coming up thereafter, but we got a bunch of shows in the works. I know we're going to be interviewing the guy from the H List. I know John Nolan's going to be interviewing him, I think Thursday. That'll be good at 5 p.m. Eastern. And then obviously Friday Night Lights. That'll be good. And then, the usual. And yeah, American Hammers Radio's got a couple shows coming out. So check it out. Anyway, if you liked what we're talking about, how about even if you didn't, just hit the like button and share the video and spread the word. Really appreciate it. So one last thing, come on, you irons. I'll talk to you guys over here.
Sir.
Fucking Moyes.